If you had only one shot to take the Iron Throne, yes, we are recording.
Oh God, I'm not ready for this.
If you only had one shot to take the Iron Throne, baby, how would you do it? Would you do it with your triplet dragons? Would you do it by basically getting all 3 of your children killed and then fucking your brother and saying, oh, well, I guess we'll have a 4th? Despite every plan you have backfiring on you, like, oh, I know, let me empower that religious cult because I don't like that there's a hot new queen.
You're just combining everyone's strategies into one person. And I would not do that.
What if it turns out you were Targaryen all along? How about that for snapping back?
Well, then I definitely have the biggest claim to the throne.
Yeah.
Especially if I were a man.
I'm just going to do this with the background of the whole episode. I'm not. I can't freestyle. My name is Jesse Dram, and with me, for the first time, Game of Thrones fans, may I introduce my wife.
We got married?
Yeah. Oh, you were taking a nap. I didn't want to wake you.
Oh, shit.
I just did a
Sorry.
little. I just put my finger in your episode. I do.
Yeah, I guess we're married now.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a thing.
We're married. We're recording this.
We're lame. We're old.
May 12th. We're recording this the same day. We just got a house. It's not. We're not in it yet, but
No.
it's still awesome.
Soon enough. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Woo! Can't wait. We are talking about Game of Thrones Season 7. This will be the first one out of all the ones we've done. Because it's only 7 episodes, apt Season 7, we are just covering the whole thing. From beginning to end. Soup to nuts. Nose, snout to anus.
Oh, God.
Have you ever heard that
I never
before?
got that term, soup to nuts.
Well,
My old boss said it all the time.
Do you know the origin? Well, it's
I literally just said I never got it. So I gave
it's
you the
because
answer
it's
to
an
that.
old term because this is back before like dessert was really big. It almost goes back to like before refrigeration was a huge thing. It's soup to nuts as in the whole meal because soup starts the meal
And nuts and the meal.
That's right, especially when it's these nuts. Game of Thrones Season 7. I don't even want to record this episode right now, but I want to watch more. I am hooked. Even though the seams are starting to show as far as why people have spoken poorly about Season 7 and 8. So yeah, just like the last season, what we're actually going to do here is I have everything broken up geographically. However, one of the annoying things that happens with this is this show where, you know, people have been separated for long times. Now they can just cross the entire fucking continent and back in 6 minutes. So because of that, doing it geographically is a little trickier, but we're going to do our best. 2 details to start us off. Well, the season starts, we ended last season with Arya killing Walder Frey, and then confusingly, this season opens up with Walder Frey providing a feast for all his homies, only to reveal, after, you know, proposing a toast to everyone, which Walder does not drink, it is Arya wearing a mask, and all the Freys have drank poison. So Arya murders all of House Frey, aside from the women.
She saves the wife.
Oh, the single ladies.
Yeah, I mean.
When I do that, you're supposed to go, oh, the single ladies. Oh, the single ladies.
Oh, the single ladies.
It's close. But, so yeah, it seems like for...
All the single ladies.
All the single ladies. It's...
All right, sorry.
A bugaboo.
Oh, God.
I'm just trying to think of Beyonce songs now in a fucking Cockney
Oh, my God.
accent. So, yeah. So they've all drank poison, and they kind of tease that it's almost some kind of like out of sequence thing. But, oh well. At Castle Black, we see Ed, who I didn't remember his name. Thus again, continuing our tradition of, we have names like, fucking Arya or Theon. And then George R. Martin gets lazy and just does like, let's do Walter, but with a D. Or in this case, let's do Ed with 2. It's double D. It's from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Well, it's kind of like Ned being short for Eddard.
Exactly. But Ed, double D, is Jon Snow Jon Snow's friend that he's left in charge of Castle Black. Although now that I get to think of him as double D from Ed, Ed, and Eddie,
He kind of looks like an Ed.
Yeah.
From Ed.
He's also like the nervous one, like, somebody's knocking at the door. But it's Bran and Mira, and they're at Castle Black, which don't get too comfortable with them there because they will be, again, in fucking Winterfell in like 5 minutes.
But to be fair, Winterfell is closer to Castle Black.
True,
it's not like they're coming south from the south.
I'm going to save that complaint for the most egregious part of it, which is...
Well, then save it. Don't even go there.
You want to read about the Riverlands?
Sure. Arya runs into Ed fucking Sheeran.
Oh my god, that was he's the first one they show in the group. It would have been nice if they like showed the back of his head and they chit chat for a second, and then like, oh, it's like, or give him a fucking eye patch or something.
Well, and that's the funny thing about like the people who like guest star, they really just want any part. And they'll just stick them in and be like, oh, you'll be this random dude that, like, no one gives a shit about.
Do you know, can you look
which is kind of nice.
Can you look up who the guest stars are? Because the only one I knew when I looked it up was, and perfect.
Like musical guest stars or, like, in general? Guest stars on Game of Thrones.
Well, it's hard to really be, like, a guest star. Like, guest star as in not an actor. Like, the big one that I found is the metal band Mastodon, or at least two of them appear as wildlings, which is, that's perfect. I don't even think they fucking say anything.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that he's shown up yet. There's some people that I don't...
Oh, that's right. I see the person you're looking at.
I don't think he's shown up yet.
Let's just say he's going to show up in season 8, and he's putting on mass.
Martin Starr was in it. I knew Richard E. Grant was in, but he's an actor.
Fucking Haverchuck's in this?
Apparently. George W. Bush.
What? Hold on.
Season 1, episode 10. In a controversial now removed scenes, producers used a prosthetic head of the 43rd U.S. President George W. Bush.
I remember that
impaled
now.
on a spike. I didn't know that.
Hey, I'm in Westeros.
Westeros? That was... No, you don't.
He's from Texas. He says Westeros. Don't you remember? He never says anything right.
That wasn't as bad, but that first line was a little shaky. Oh, Martin Starr is in the same one as Rob McElhenney. Is that how you say his name?
McElhenney.
Mac I knew when I heard it, I would know
Mac from
it.
Always Sunny appears in season 8.
It's kind of like how I can't say amalgam when I'm reading the word.
Oh.
When I read it, I say amalgam.
I have a few of those. Like, I know awry, I always thought was Auri. And there was another one we just talked about the other day. What was that?
There's another word that we missed.
That we discussed that you said I say funny, and we decided it was from books.
I don't remember. Oh, my God. I wish I remembered because I feel like your entire listenership would be like, are you kidding me that you don't know how to say this word? And you debated me on it because God forbid I'm right without you double checking.
You have breasts. You can't be right. Come on.
I'm so mad that
I got kind of man tits too. So
I'm so mad I can't remember.
It'll pop up.
Yeah.
Not like my good friend Neil Wood, who God, I had to call him out on this, and he has revealed that, like, oh, his parents, his mom and sisters found it cute, so they never corrected him. So now he's a 6'5" man who says frustrated, and I have to correct him every time.
Oh shit! I didn't know Sigur Rós played the Joffrey's wedding.
Ooh, Sigur Rós.
I don't know how they say that.
Who the fuck is that?
They're an Icelandic band. I was into them when I was like going through like a dream pop phase. They're very like la. Just like that. Mm-hmm. Yep, there's Mastodon. They're in 2 episodes.
Wow.
The drummer from Coldplay.
That's right. I heard Coldplay.
A New York Mets pitcher.
Interesting.
That's all we got.
Yeah, the point is, Ed Sheeran's just fucking there. And apparently, he just showed up to set. Arya was like a huge fan of his. And he just showed up to set. They didn't tell her. And her entire scene is with him.
That's cute, Maisie Williams.
Yeah. But anyway.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so yes. She tells them... Well, who's them? They're just the group. They're the group, right?
Yeah, they're a group of Lannisters.
Yeah, she tells them she's on their way to kill Cersei, and they all laugh because they don't think she's legit about it. She's like, that's funny. You're trying to kill the queen. Meanwhile, the Hound sees...
Oh, Cersei, I'm in love with the shape of her.
The Hound sees a vision in the fire of the wall, and an army of the dead. He is coming to believe in the Lord of the Light. Arya runs into Fat Fuck.
Fat fuck!
Hot pie.
We haven't seen Fat fuck in
He's
so
great.
long.
He's the first to tell her the Boltons are dead and Sansa and Jon have recaptured Winterfell. She opts to temporarily abandon her Cersei quest and returns home. And again, the Riverlands also aren't too far from Winterfell.
Right. We'll get to that.
These are all northbound.
So, in Winterfell, Sansa rebukes Jon for accepting the loyalty of the remnants of the houses of Karstark and Umber, saying their castle should be given to the new houses that didn't betray them. So we're already seeing a little bit... Sansa, well, not his queen, obviously, because they're not Lannisters and they're not fucking. She is the Lady of the North.
Right.
And... Wait, is she the Lady of the North or the Lady of Winterfell?
Lady of Winterfell.
Lady of Winterfell. The point is, she's showing herself as somebody who can openly disagree with Jon. And I guess that's good. Kind of like the vision of democracy. Like, we pretend to disagree, but you're all gonna die anyway. Jon receives a communique from Cersei inviting him to... I wrote that wrong. From Daenerys inviting him to Dragonstone to bend the knee. Meanwhile, Sam at the Citadel discovers a book saying, are you engaging in this or are you just playing with your phone?
No, I'm engaging. I'm looking something up.
Okay. Sam at the Citadel...
Oh, what's that like? No idea what that's like.
Discovers a book saying that there is totally divorced. There is a ton of dragonglass underground at Dragonstone. As you know, dragonglass can be used to kill the White Walkers. He sends message to Jon. Jon then travels to Dragonstone to confer with Dany. I don't know why I wrote Cersei both times here. He leaves Sansa in charge, threatening Littlefinger to not lay a hand on her. While Jon's away, Bran and Mira arrive, our next Stark reunion. This one is a little bit different, though, because much like an art school college kid coming home, Bran has returned all gothy and weird.
Yeah, it's really funny. They don't know how to, like, interact with him at all.
Yeah.
They're just like,
but he doesn't know either.
Don't go near him. They're kind of like, see, just try this on a little bit.
Bran, you're so different now. On the Three-Eyed Raven. Also, I've been listening to The Cure's Pornography and Bauhaus on repeat. I could just see everything. You wouldn't understand.
So he's an 80s and early 90s goth then.
I do like, though, that as a character, he's kind of distinct in himself. When everybody else is, like, juggling politics, I like that Bran's just kind of doing his own thing. And this might be the first time I really like Bran.
Well, my first time I liked Bran is when he was not in the series for an entire season.
Damn! That's a Bran burn right there. Arya returns to Winterfell. Obviously, just as Jon leaves, we can't have too many Starks. If more than 4 Starks are all together, the space-time continuum falls apart. So Arya returns to Winterfell. The dagger... Oh, okay. Littlefinger gives a dagger to Bran. Why does he give that dagger to Bran again?
It's supposed to
MacGuffin that gets thrown.
No,
he says it's because
you're
the Lord. Wait, I thought he also said you should take it because you're like the Lord, because he's the only true Stark man.
No, I think there was something about the dagger. Oh, because he's trying to plant it with Arya, with Sansa and Arya. I think it comes back into play.
But like, they don't even know the significance of it.
Yet.
Is there any other significance of it aside from the fact that it's the same dagger that Littlefinger betrayed Ned Stark with? Where he's like, didn't I tell you you shouldn't trust me? But other than that, he gives it to Bran, and it has some kind of meaning to Bran. Well, at least he thinks it is, but Bran's like, actually, I've seen that violence is bullshit.
Well, it's...
In my dark studies
Is it the
course.
dagger that the guy came into Bran's room when he was in a coma and tried to kill him with?
That's it. So, yeah, he was giving it back to him as, like, a sign of it.
Yeah.
But Bran, basically, he just gives it to Arya. He's like, I'm a cripple. Why do I need this? Also, the world is so phony, and you don't even know. Arya we see Brienne and Podrick sparring, and Arya joins in to show off her new skills, and kind of like shows that she is capable of fucking up Brienne.
Yeah.
And Sansa is impressed and a little intimidated over who Arya has become. Sansa just has this constant like slack jaw, like, what's become of my awkward little sister? Because she's all confident and kicking ass.
Well, and we've discussed that, like, you kind of forget because you know the character's story arc that, like, they don't know each other.
Exactly.
And,
like we've
what
seen
they've been through.
everything that happened. Arya was quite well. Arya and Sansa were
And
both
Sansa,
quite
too,
literally
yeah.
children the last they saw each other.
Well, and it even goes with, like, Arya. Well, we'll get there, I guess. With Arya confronting Sansa.
Right. Arya sees Littlefinger pulling some more manipulation shit and finds an old letter from Sansa encouraging Robb Stark to surrender to Joffrey, which this had to be like season 1, season 2. But you can see she's like under duress, like, you know, our father was a traitor, you need to chill out. And they have a weird scene between Sansa and Arya where it almost seems like it's weird because of what happens, but it seems like they're buying into the bullshit.
Yeah, well, and that's where that comes in with the whole thing of them not knowing what the other one's going through, because to Arya, all Sansa ever wanted to be was queen. So to her, she thinks she's just like on this little power trip, and Sansa's like, no, this kind of fell into my lap, but I'm here because I am a survivor, you know? But Arya doesn't know that, you know, she hasn't been around Sansa, but we have. But I think that's part of them trying to convey that, like, okay, we know these characters have changed, but they're still going to have this weird sibling rivalry between each other because that's all they've known. It's kind of like, and we've discussed this.
Even the reunion is a little bit icy.
Well, we've discussed this, like, with previous relationships. It's kind of the same thing of, like, when you're in a relationship with someone, even if you've both grown past it, it's really hard to not revert back to treating each other the way you used to treat each other. Even if you're not, like, if it's not in, like, you know, a sexual way, it's still just like when I hang out with my ex, we're still weird around each other, and we're still like kind of mean to each other because it's like that's how we've always known to like interact. And I feel like that's kind of what this whole thing is conveying, is like they don't know how to interact with each other as adults.
Okay. They have one last awkward interaction where Sansa finds Arya's collection of faces and says she's got some explaining to do. That one confused me because it looked like one of the faces in the bag was Littlefinger's, but then she wouldn't have Littlefinger's face if she had not killed Littlefinger. Very confusing in the moment, but definitely showing some dissension between them. And this is also magnified that Sansa seems to be Baelish is trying to push Sansa into betraying Jon, it would seem. So they really kind of set that whole thing up. But anyway, you want to tell us about the Citadel?
Sure. So yeah, they're at the Citadel, and Sam finds Jorah heavily infected with grayscale. Despite being told not to treat him, Sam tries an old remedy anyway, painfully cutting away and treating the scale. Sam's master maester.
I know that's weird, but he is like the head maester.
Yeah.
So.
Examines Jorah and releases him to return to Daenerys, so the maester isn't thrilled that Sam disobeyed him in order to not treat him. But he also is kind of like, good for you.
Yeah, he's also like, yeah, good you, but I gotta punish you.
Yeah. Despite a warning about the army of the dead, the Grand Maesters laugh it off. Oh, yeah, because they're not. I mean, I wouldn't listen to Sam, probably.
Is that also the same one where they're talking about one of the ancient Maesters and how, like, he recorded every single shit he ever took?
Yeah. No, that's not then.
Okay.
That's between Sam and Gilly.
That is between Sam and Gilly. I don't think it came up in the notes. Because it's not important, but it was a fun moment.
Well, it's important, and you left this out of the notes that...
Blame Wikipedia.
Sam finds... Gilly is reading through that guy's journals who talks about taking a shit, figures out that Jon is a target.
Well, that's at the end.
Isn't that at the Citadel, though?
That part takes place at the Citadel, but I think we're discussing all that at the end.
Okay. I won't jump ahead then. Sorry. I thought we were in the Citadel, and that's why. Okay, anyway. Despite him warning about the army of the dead, blah, blah, blah. So when they laugh off his warning, it frustrates Sam enough that he leaves and heads for Winterfell with Gilly and Lil Sam.
Yeah.
Lil Sam's becoming a rapper.
That's right. A very light season for Sam, but he's important. Pretty big, but important.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, now for one of the two long ones are going to be King's Landing and Dragonstone. So, In King's Landing, short of allies, Euron.
Fuck Euron.
I like Euron.
Oh, he's the worst, and he's so gross looking too.
I like Euron in a professional wrestling bad guy kind of way. Like
I
like
see that.
I like what a piece of shit he is.
You also liked Walder Frey, so...
Which is funny because I don't remember saying that.
You definitely did. He was making comments about the girls and shit, and you're like, oh, I like him.
Yeah. Euron, again, if you're not aware, that's also Jorah and Theon's uncle, who has taken the throne. Whatever. Proposes marriage to Cersei in exchange for the Iron Fleet. She says no for now, and he promises to return with a gift for his future bride.
What a guy.
So I'm trying to think, if you had turned me down on proposal, what would have been the grand gift? I guess like your dad's head, maybe.
That's horrible. I'm not that bad.
No, I like David.
Yeah, no. Proposal, I was going to say Lilith, but Lilith came before proposal, so you showed all your
Lilith
cards.
is our cat.
Early. Yes, the one that you hear us talking to when she's meowing at the door.
Mm-hmm. Euron presents the Sand Girls to Cersei as a gift. Wait, okay, this happened. All right, this is where the order gets a little weird. We could talk about the Sand Girls for a second.
Well, and the Sand Girls really are Oberyn's children. Right. They're called the Sand Girls because they're...
Oh, the Sandy Ladies. Oh,
yes.
The Sandy Ladies.
Well, because they're...
but maybe before
they're bastards.
Right. So before this, maybe we should talk about some of the Dragonstone parts, because very beginning of the season, the Daenerys and Dothraki arrive at her ancestral home of Dragonstone. She wants to take
originally we were at Dragonstone with Stannis because he was given Dragonstone after Robert won the rebellion.
Okay.
That's how he got to Dragonstone.
Nice. She wants to take King's Landing by force, but Tyrion convinces her not to spare the populace. The Unsullied are sent to capture Casterly Rock. So this is their big plan. They're going to capture Casterly Rock. And where were Yara and Theon and the Sands going?
To Dorne, to get the Dornish people.
And they were going to go take the Dorne. So yeah, Yara is with the Sand Girls. When Euron attacks her ship, pretty gnarly battle scene. They literally ram the boat into there. Although, in the moment, it's a little confusing whether this is, like, the ship of the entire fleet of the Unsullied going in, or what it turns out to be where it's just, like, their boat, more or less.
Right.
But, and actually, fucking, what's the name of, Mother Sand?
Oh, fuck, I don't remember.
Point is, she's about to les out with Yara when she goes
yeah.
down.
Oh, my God, what is her name?
You know them goddamn Dorns and how they'll just fuck anything that moves. Somebody must have made a fucking horrible joke that Yara is a lesbian because of the Iron Islands, fish, etc. It's her ancestral smell.
God,
you look up her name. But, so yeah, Euron attacks the ships, kills 2 of the Sands Girls, leaving just the mother and daughter, and takes Yara hostage. Theon... So Euron basically like, I have your sister. What are you going to do, Theon, you dickless fuck? And Theon cowardly jumps overboard when he cannot save Yara. And the name is...
Alaria.
Melisandre arrives to... see, I think the girls, he doesn't do as much let me just replace a letter.
The girls, the names start sounding a little familiar. Like, a little similar. Because I was thinking it was Elisa, but I knew that wasn't Elisa.
He needs to pull the same trick he does with the guys and do, like, Ashley's or Rakeka Dorn.
And Oberyn's sister, who got murdered and raped by the Mountain, is Elia. So all their names, those are the ones whose names all start sounding the same.
Fuck. Okay.
Sorry.
Melisandre arrives to counsel Daenerys and have some really not great interactions with Varys. So you have already warned me that what they do with Varys, who has been one of my favorite characters, is a big part of why people don't like the last 2 seasons. Because Varys, who is usually like, oh, you know, my little birds, come talk to me. All of a sudden, Melisandre shows up. I was like, oh, yes, my little birds. I don't trust you, red bitch.
So, yeah, they do Varys dirty. I will say with this, though, I kind of think he acts this way because he's very fond. This is going to come off gross, but he's fond of children, and I think it really, like, affected him to find out that she, like, fucking killed a child.
I didn't see him even find out about Shireen.
I think he did.
Okay. Well,
I think he did.
That makes a little more
But
sense.
they still ruin him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending it.
True. So Jon arrives and refuses to bend the knee, as he should, because like the big thing, you'll come down here and you won't even bend your knee. Like, bitch, you just got here. Not to mention, I'm a new king. I can't just be like, have all my people like, we trust you, lead us. I will lead you to the new ones. Like, guys, I met this really nice blonde chick. She's in charge now.
Yeah, I will say at this point, I appreciate his decision, but not later on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, no, his decision ain't later on with Cersei.
Oh, wait, what?
We'll get there.
Oh, where he said, okay, well, yeah, we'll get there. Melisandre stays out of the way because, of course, Jon said, if I ever see you again, I'll kill you, you child burning so-and-so. Daenerys doesn't want to give him anything, but Tyrion more or less makes the point, like, listen, all he wants is dragon glass. You're not using it anyway. Do a show of good faith by giving away the thing you didn't want or weren't using in the first place.
And didn't even know was here.
And didn't even know. Fuck. Before he leaves, Grey Worm and... Why the fuck? Her name's not Melisandre. What's the... Missandei. Grey Worm and Missandei get it on, and we get more killer pussy-eating warriors. Jon Snow and Grey Worm, they like going down.
Yep.
And I'm curious, we actually complained about this in the moment, and we haven't had that much nudity, male or female, in the last 2 seasons.
Thank God.
But we were both like, show me the stuff.
Show the
stuff.
the lack of penis.
Free the nub.
You won't show the penis like ever, so at least show us a lack of penis.
So there is a shock site called eFucked, which is a little bit porn-y.
Shock.
And there's a guy, they have a quick like photo thing back and forth of a guy who basically castrated himself, just cut his old ding-dong off.
Oh, God.
And just has like a fancy little nub at the end.
Why do you watch this shit?
It's the only way I can feel things. No, because it's shock shit. Sometimes it's funny. I mean, amateur porn bloopers are pretty hysterical.
Oh, God.
And sometimes you get something like, oh, that's where we're about to take a deep fucking turn.
Is this something you should be talking about with your wife before you go on?
No, it's nothing like
okay.
that. This is where I first learned about bug chasers. Do you know what bug chasing is?
No.
Bug chasing, I think this was more prevalent in the 90s.
Something where you put a bug up your butt?
In a way. Bug chasers were gay men in the gay community who actively sought out HIV infection.
Oh, I have heard of that.
Yeah. And it's, oof. But yeah, that little mini documentary fucking blew my mind seeing that on eFucked. And they will literally have, what is it? It's like baptism parties, and it's literally just for their birthday. They'll just invite a bunch of dudes with AIDS to fuck them in the ass.
This is not sponsored by eFuck. This is just by sheer goodwill that we're advertising them.
This is sponsored by everybody who made Game of Thrones. They endorse bug chasing. Anyway, yeah, look at bug chasing. It's fucking mind-blowing. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, Grey Worm's eating pussy. Grey Worm and the Unsullied take Casterly Rock easily. Too easily. It turns out Jaime took most of the soldiers to conquer Highgarden, which they do easily. He offers Lady Olenna poison, pretty much like the Highgarden's army sucks. They just get destroyed. Yeah. All their gold gets sacked. Lovely Lady Olenna, who's been hanging out ever since Marjorie told her to beat her feet. And he offers her a poison. She says, will it be painful? He says, no. So she takes it, and she's immediately like, well, good. I wouldn't want to go down like your little pussy bitch boy, Joffrey. It was me, Austin. It was me.
Yeah.
Great moment.
I want her to know. Yeah, I want her to know it was me who did it.
Which I've been waiting to say. So we live in the city of Philadelphia, and when the election was happening, and they were waiting on the count of Philadelphia to see whether Trump or Biden won Pennsylvania, it all came down to Philadelphia, and slowly but surely, Philadelphia's numbers pulled Pennsylvania for Biden. And one of the great memes was Lady Olenna, only with the face of Gritty, the anarchist mascot of the Flyers, saying, tell Donald I want him to know it was me.
Yep, and now you get it.
I got it. Okay. I gotta figure this out. So back at Dragonstone, Jon reveals cave paintings to Daenerys. of the children of the forest and the first men joining forces to battle the White Walkers.
Clearly, they didn't do a good job.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job. It was like the cave paintings at Lemieux. What is that French city where the cave paintings are?
I don't know.
Okay. So we jump back to Euron presents the Sand Girls to Cersei as a gift, and she promises marriage to him once the war is won. Cersei chains and gags both of the Sand Girls, fucking with them.
Oh, we should make note that like the reason Euron got the Sand Girls was because he took them when he attacked the fleet.
Yeah, I thought I made that clear when he took a prisoner.
Oh, I didn't think you said that. Okay.
Oh.
I didn't think you said that. Maybe you did.
That was right when again, typically we only do this geographically, but now characters are like
right. That's why I'm making sure we clarify.
Because I think like everybody at Dragonstone spends just as much time at King's Landing in this season.
Yes.
But I noticed watching the scene that like Cersei's lips look straight. I'm such a fucking mark. I didn't even notice it. Just like Cersei looks like she's wearing lip liner or something. But then she kisses the Sand Daughter on the lip. And
this is after she ties them up.
Yeah, I just said that she chains them up.
Oh.
But she kisses the daughter with the poison, leaving her to die and the mother to watch, the same as Marcella.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I still do not think Arya would have killed Marcella. She would have killed Jaime.
Yeah, it was so weird. He was there.
And Jaime was there. Jaime was there. I do not think Arya... Because Arya...
I think you could have also convinced Marcella, be like, he was a dickhead and had to go. Because Marcella was happy in Dorne.
Not to mention, like... Arya would have known that Oberyn would not have been okay with that. She would not have fucking killed a child.
Where was the first time we heard we don't kill little girls?
That was Oberyn who said it to, I think, Jaime? But Cersei, he said to one of the Lannisters when he was in King's Landing. Because that's when Marcella was, like, going to be going to Dorne.
That's right. That was the thing. She got sent off. He said, we're not going to kill your daughter.
Look,
we're not scum like you.
I know she's a minor character, but I do think that is a major character flaw in that. They could have gotten Marcella killed another way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I think that might have been the books.
Maybe.
I think a lot of the books, like up until like season 6 or 7, the books are pretty much running the show.
Mm-hmm. So we see a representative of the Iron Bank where Cersei promises to pay back their debt in full with the looted gold from Highgarden. And this gets it put... we haven't seen so much of the Iron Bank as they've teased, because they keep saying, like, oh, well, the Lannisters are out of money, and if the Iron Bank decides to back up Daenerys, then you're fucked. And then all that for, like, they appear twice and never change their backing for Cersei.
Right, and also, why do the Lannisters need the Iron Bank if they're so rich?
Well, the thing is, they haven't been rich for a while. They have borrowed money from the Tyrells, which obviously...
True.
So they decide to just, instead of paying back the Tyrells ever, like, let's just take over Highgarden and take all their shit.
Yep.
Davos smuggles Tyrion into King's... Alright, wait. Alright, fuck it. We can do... This might be a little bit out of order, but... Davos smuggles Tyrion into King's Landing to meet with Jaime and propose a temporary armistice between Daenerys and Cersei. Bran actually hooks this up. So, you know, it's funny because Bran is in so many of these episodes, but I don't think he's in the notes all that much.
Right.
He only does so...
He's not doing much.
He's kind of Jaime's lackey.
Yeah.
Here. But, and...
It is weird watching him switch from Tyrion to Jaime, though.
And Cersei reveals that she is pregnant again with Jaime's baby. And she pretty much says, like, I'm going to be open about it. I'm tired of hiding. My love don't cost a thing. You know what? Fuck it. We can do this out of order, too, because it doesn't matter. While in King's Landing, Davos also goes with Tyrion, and he wanders around Flea Bottom, a place he hasn't been for 30 fucking years, but he knows where every fucking
But like I said,
wouldn't
you know wouldn't you know the basic setup of Belmar
if I hadn't been there in 30 years? Probably not. Not to mention it's like a public market, which I imagine changes shape often.
I mean... Yeah, I don't know. I think I would still know the layout of like a place I spent, especially because he spent adult life there too.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I don't think that's as far-fetched as you're making it out.
We get a big comeback. We find Gendry, who has been hiding out in Flea Bottom, which it does sound a little bit like a cop-out. Like, I figured it's the last place they'd expect me. Where on the one hand, like, that's kind of, I don't think he would come to that decision. But at the same time, they're so beyond, like, we need to get rid of Rob Baratheon's bastards.
True.
That I don't think he would choose to go back there, but I don't think they would find him there.
Agreed.
Well, but then again, like, nobody there remembered who the fuck he was. Would have dimed
Yeah,
him out.
but who was killing him at that point? Who was after him at that point anyway? No one. They were only after him when Joffrey had all the bastards killed, which was even longer ago. And then Melisandre was doing it for fucking Stannis, who's dead.
Yeah.
Who's after him? No one.
True. Gendry is excited to leave with Davos, and he has a gnarly hammer-axe combo. They return to Dragon. They actually go back to the boat, and some Lannister guards come up, and they're like, "What are you doing there?" And it's pretty much like, "Oh, we have fermented crab. It'll make your dick hard. Come get it." And they're all about it, buying into it. But then as they're leaving, fucking Tyrion walks by, which everybody would recognize Tyrion. Like, they probably killed every dwarf in King's Landing just to be on the safe side.
For sure.
So, okay. So I think that is it. I can actually hand this over to you now because I won't have to jump around. There we go.
Okay. Learning of the attack of Highgarden, Daenerys rides Drogon and leads the Dothraki to take on the Lannister army returning home. They destroy Wow, we really are out of order. They destroy everything, and Jaime almost tries to attack her and is nearly melted for the trouble.
So, this is something that annoys me right here, is that all the payment back to... They're coming back with everything from Highgarden, all the gold we saw, yet despite everything getting melted, the gold still makes it back to King's Landing. How is that?
Yeah, that's true.
Just very, very strange, but...
Also, why wouldn't they have taken the gold? Anyway, Bronn shoots Drogon with the spear gun, but it's only a temporary nuisance. The scorpion. That's what it's called.
That's what, like, Qyburn comes up with to try and take him down.
Daenerys offers the remaining Lannister soldiers the chance to bend the knee. The Tarly father and son refuse and are burned by dragonfire. Tyrion is uncharacteristically like, how could you do this thing you've totally done before? Not to mention, okay, this is where things start to fall apart for me too. They're all like being like, Daenerys, is that really the best decision? Don't you want to show mercy? Blah, blah, blah. And to me, like, yeah, Daenerys makes some fucking ridiculous missteps. Like, I didn't think she needed to kill that guy back in Marine for, like, killing the guy who was against her.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
But, like, I know. But I'm relating it to this where it's like, but she did give these people a chance to bend the knee or face death. She didn't just say, you need to die. They didn't want to. They were being defiant. Like, I didn't think there was anything wrong with how she chose to handle that, and they were all acting like she was fucking out of her mind.
Tyrions are like, you could have locked them up for a bit. They would have changed their minds. She said, I did not break chains.
They were acting like she was the Mad King.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, she's not there. And, like, we've seen people burned at the stake and shit.
Also, just the fact that you're standing in a field with scorched bodies, but Tyrion, Mr. Pragmatist, suddenly is like, 2 more burned bodies. Are you your father?
And she points out she makes the point where she's like, if I offer to lock them up, all of them will choose that. And yeah, I get that. Like, you have to feed those people and be responsible for them and move them if you're moving. Like, yeah, why would you want to give people like an option that makes it harder on you?
Yeah, these are the things that are happening where the number one thing that is taking me out of the moment is when they have a character act completely in opposite to everything their character has ever done, because you temporarily need to be like, what, is she going to be the Mad Queen? I am the god of wine and tits, not the Tarlys. Like, okay, guy.
Good luck in season 8, honey.
This is gonna suck. I can't wait.
All right. Jorah is reunited.
Boy.
Yeah, love. Jorah is reunited with Daenerys at Dragonstone, all healed and beautiful.
Skip that next sentence because I can get getting into that in the more important part.
Jon proposes to capture a white. He proposes to capture a white beyond the wall and present it to Cersei as proof of greater danger in the north. Jon, the Hound, Gendry, the dead guy. Who's
With the eye patch, the one that's died. And
Oh,
come back
Beric.
around.
Beric, his pal Thoros, I assume the one who brought him back.
Right.
Okay, Thoros. And some red shirts go.
You know what I mean there, right?
Are you referring to the British Army?
No, the red shirts is used in pop culture because in the original Star Trek series, if there was random guys in red shirts, they were just there to die.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar. They come across a small group and kill the leader. What?
Oh, well, hold on. So because it doesn't make sense, he proposes to capture a dead soldier, so they go from Dragonstone all the way up to Beyond the Wall with nothing in between.
Yeah, that one's great. That one's a bit of a stretch. So they come across a small group and kill the leader, leading to all but one of the dead disintegrating. What does the sentence mean?
So pretty much they kill the leader of the general, the one who's actually. The reason I keep saying the dead and the whites is when I think of the whites, I think of the guys with like the white skin and the blue eyes.
Those are the White Walkers.
The White Walkers and the whites are just the dead reanimated soldiers. Okay. So they kill the White Walker and all of the other one, all the whites just kind of disintegrate aside from one.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
In the moment, you and I were both like, why the fuck the one? And they at least... I thought it was lame, but they took the time to put in an explanation, even if it's one, like, why did one stay? Like, I think it's only the ones they've turned that die. Like, okay. Not great, but you're addressing it, so I'll give you that.
No, I think, yeah.
So they capture the last one.
This is very confusing.
They capture the last one that's still alive, but his wailing alerts the greater horde. They come and attack the group. Jon sends Gendry to Eastwich to tell them what happened and send a raven to Dragonstone, which... okay, for one thing, this guy they just met, like, you're the fastest boy I've just met. You run back. Like, okay. So the whites pursue them onto a frozen lake where there is a rock at the center of it, which they all hang on. As the whites get closer, the ice starts breaking and they sink into the water. So they kind of just hold this little armistice. They're just standing there. So we have the people, our guys of like the Hound and Jon Snow. And yeah, they're stuck on that rock.
Beric and I think Theros is dead at that point, right?
He's not dead yet.
Okay.
He dies on there.
Okay.
We see a white polar bear, which is interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. They see him at a distance, and then one says, like, your bears have blue eyes.
Yeah.
You can see that from a mile away. So while they're waiting there for Gendry to go tell the people at Eastwatch, send a raven, and for Dany to come save them, so they're just, like, starving and freezing. The Hound, bored, starts throwing boulders at some of the dead on the perimeter. He knocks the jaw off of one. However, he fucks up by throwing another heavy boulder, which just lands on the ice and skids, keep going. And you can see the whites, even though being literally brain dead, being a little like, oh, maybe all the ice isn't so thin. And so they start slowly coming across and
it is pretty
attacking.
creepy, that first guy dragging the sword across the ice, and you're just like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm. And like I mentioned, during the wait, the drunk guy freezes to death.
Yes, Thoros, yeah. Which, like, kind of matters because Thoros isn't there. There's no one to bring back Beric.
Anyone who dies.
Yeah.
Right. So Daenerys arrives, and now we need to take a second. My big complaint about this whole episode is this show has always been so like, oh, Arya's stuck at King's Landing. How will she ever get back to Winterfell? Well, if it was season 7, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. So, in this whole siege where they're trying to get a white, they capture one, they're stuck on the ice. They send Gendry to run back to Eastwatch, which is part of the wall, to send a raven to fly all the way down to Dragonstone, which is not south, but it's south.
Yeah.
And then she shows up. This happens in a span of 10 minutes. This would take fucking weeks.
Well, it probably happens in the span of like a day, I would say. Because they start falling asleep on the ice. I agree with how it got there was too quick, but I think with her dragon, she could have gotten there super quick.
We need to look. I'm going to look up where Dragonstone is.
I do think with her dragon, she would have gotten there quickly, though. Because she's been a lot of places with that dragon really fast. My issue is, why didn't she use the dragon to begin with?
Oh, yes.
If fire kills them, can't you just bring the three of them over and just call it a day?
Well, I think part of it was she was still unconvinced by them, I guess, because this was when she first saw them, right?
Daenerys,
yeah.
But at that point, she had bought. Well, yeah, no, but at that point, she bought it.
Different.
No, because she didn't see the white yet. Because they bring the white back to Cersei, and that's the end of the season.
Right, but before that, though, they see. Before that, she's talked into, like, oh, they exist. It's only when she takes the dragons up there that she sees just how terrifying and massive they are. She's only heard of them. That's the first time she's seen them. Meaning, if it's to go save them, okay, I'll bring the dragons. But if it's just the initial, like, go get your fucking white, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if she was part of that plan. I do think that she was buying it 100%. And if they said, they kept saying fire kills them.
But I don't think she bought it 100% then. Okay, your theory is horseshit. So, here we have the wall up here. Let's say we're looking at...
I don't have a theory, by the way.
What you just said. But let's look at this. Imagine we're looking at a map of the eastern seaboard. Let's say we're looking at the eastern seaboard, and beyond the wall where they are is Maine. Dragonstone, again, in correlation to Maine, looks like it would be fucking Georgia. That's how far away it appears.
You don't think it would take a couple of hours for a dragon to do that?
How long would it take a raven to fly?
I said all of the point of getting there, I agreed with you.
But that's still...
I agree with you, but all I said was I could buy that the dragon got there quickly.
Is the dragon the Concorde airplane? Because that's still very fast.
I think the dragon could get there in 8 hours.
That is how long it would probably take to fly from Georgia to Maine. Assuming...
Georgia to Maine? That would take like 2 hours, honey.
It wouldn't take 2 hours.
Yes, it does. It takes 2 hours to get from Jersey to Florida.
It takes 3 hours to get from Jersey.
No, it doesn't. It takes 2.
Okay, you've flown more than
I was like, do not debate me on this. I know you think you're right about everything.
Anyway, that's been my big annoyance with this, is that despite the whole thing of this show is like these people are split by geography and separated, and now they're suddenly darting back and fucking forth like they're just running to the grocery store.
That I agree with. I'm just saying, I think the dragons move fast. That's my point.
Okay, so Daenerys arrives again to stop into the grocery store with her dragons, and they torch tons of whites. However, while they're there, this is a very emotional scene. The Night King grabs an ice spear and is able to pierce and kill the dragon Viserion.
Oh, watching him go down and all the blood spilling out.
Oh, yeah. He goes down like he's leaking jet fuel.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really sad.
Daenerys
You're almost happy it's so quick because it's so brutal.
Yeah. Daenerys is heartbroken, and the men all climb on Drogon and escape, except for Jon Snow, who falls through the ice. He somehow makes it out and is saved by Benjen, who stays and fights, parentheses, and dies.
Finally.
While Jon rides his horse back to Eastwatch. So literally, I can see George R. R. Martin just being like, oh shit, I'm going to need somebody to save him here in this tense moment. Like, let's bring Benjen back. I had that horse come back without him. He's still there, hanging out. His only role in this is to save Bran and Mira, and then Jon, and then he just dies conveniently.
I feel like a lot of shows have characters that are only there for one obvious reason.
Yeah. So Jon rides his horse back to Eastwatch. While recovering, Dany sees him shirtless and sees the stab wounds. At the end of the episode, we see the Whites dragging with massive chains Viserion out of the lake, which he crashed into upon his death. And the Night King lays a hand on his face, and the blue dragon eye awakens.
Yeah, and like my thing was like, and I can't even be mad about this. I'm like, oh, they're not even thinking about that, but it's also like, how could they know? Like, and what could they have done? Like, even if they were like, holy fuck, like, they could reanimate this dragon. He drowns. How the hell are they going to escape that regardless?
Yeah. But yeah, very interesting turn of events. Because obviously, the dragons have been played up so much as if they have dragons, their opponents are fucked. And now the already overpowered, like, supercharged fucking white army, army of the dead, have a fucking dragon. And he blows... I wondered at first if he was going to blow, like, ice fire or icy hot. Just like, it burns.
Well, and I remember when I first saw that episode, I said out loud, holy fuck, when the blue eye opened. I was just like, shit, they're fucked.
Yeah. It takes away a little bit of the sadness of Viserion being dead. Not that Viserion had his own qualities. Where did the dragons have genders?
Well, I think... I just assumed they were boys because they were named after... Men.
It's not like Shrek where there's like a pretty dragon lady that you know because she has like sweet eyelashes.
Yeah, no, Viserion... I mean, it does and it doesn't because you know it's not going to probably end well for him anyway.
Maybe that also happened back at Miran? What was
Marine?
Marine. Maybe that's what happened back at Marine. Not only did the dragon torch that little girl, but very not as cute as in Shrek. Maybe that dragon was also fucking donkeys.
Maybe.
That's not going to make the people
fucking
happy.
Donkeys?
Do you know the donkey falls in love with a dragon in Shrek?
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Not as cute in real life.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen Shrek.
Well, I guess if the dragon is the one being penetrated, if the dragon has a dick, that's a sad day for the donkey.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's talk about the last episode, The Dragon and the Wolf. You can take the lead on this.
Sure, as long as your notes are written.
This one I just straight up copy-pasted, so you can literally complain to Wikipedia.
The White is presented to the Lannister court, and Cersei demands Jon's neutrality, but she storms off when Jon upholds his oath to Daenerys. Well, okay, we're skipping over a lot.
Let's details there. So yeah. The Hound drags up. Oh well, the Hound actually has a face-off with the Dare Mountain. Where he actually
a light face-off.
He says an ominous line, which is like, "The same thing's coming for you that's always been, brother." It's like, wait, is that? Am I supposed to know what that is? Because I don't know that. Whatever.
Yeah.
But they bring up the case with the White in it. And honestly, for a second, as the Hound slowly opens it up, I thought the White was going to somehow be dead dead-er, unanimated, in transition. And she's like, "You brought me bones, cut the faces off," or whatever.
Well, and even, like they try to explain it without, like, showing her at first. And she's just, obviously, Cersei is not having it.
Right. Also, in the history of the show, this is like the single greatest confluence of characters coming together we've seen. Like, with the exception of the Starks and Sam and Littlefinger, everybody who's not at Winterfell is at King's Landing.
Yes. Yeah, so...
But the White comes out, has the chain on, literally runs, like, right up to... Cersei's face until the chain grabs.
Yes, and then he stabs him, I think, with a normal knife to show that, like, he won't die.
Qyburn even picks up the disembodied hand, which is still moving.
Yes. So then they show that they demonstrate he can either be killed with fire or with dragon glass. So Cersei is a little more concerned and convinced, and she's basically like makes a pact with Daenerys where it's like, we're gonna focus on this, and then we can tear each other's throats apart. But Jon, you need to be neutral after this, that's when Jon is like, no, I pledged my allegiance to Daenerys, and that's when everyone, including me, is like, dude, fucking lie.
Exactly.
And he's like, oaths get broken all the time. Like, if they don't, like, words stop meaning things. And it's like, yeah, but, like, there's a bigger thing happening right now. Maybe just say whatever the fuck Cersei wants to hear. Especially if you hear Daenerys. If you are convinced Daenerys is going to win anyway, then what's the harm in lying to Cersei?
So Tyrion meets with Cersei in private, which, you know, I would have never expected to see again after the death of Joffrey. Although now we know, she knows for certain Tyrion had nothing to do with it.
Cersei walks away from it.
Yeah. But yeah, they fucking scream at each other. That's a very cool scene of I think Tyrion actually kind of puts it to her like, really, this is kind of your fault, right? She's like, I don't care. You care. Like he says, like, I want Daenerys because I think she'll be the best for the people. And Cersei flat out says, I don't give a fuck about the people. I give a fuck about our family. Jaime, the baby in my belly, my father that you killed. Fuck the people.
And I do love that Tyrion is like, okay, he was going to sentence me to death and, like, get over it because he didn't really like any of us all that much.
Yes.
Um.
Oh, so, but Cersei agrees to the alliance despite all this. Then, as soon as they leave, Cersei reveals to Jaime.
Oh, and I love Cersei's line where she's like, just remember, like, I made you promises when no one else would.
Right. I made you promises when you offered me nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. But as soon as they're gone... Oh, well, the other thing is with the whites, as soon as Euron sees the white, he asks, can those things swim? They say no. He says, like, fuck this, I'm going home. Peace
and runs away.
Out, bitch.
And Cersei's kind of like, I understand it. And then later on is like, Jaime, like, why don't... Like, fuck them, let them...
Jaime reveals himself to be a dummy dum-dum here, because as soon as they all leave... Jaime's like, okay, so where should we send the military? Like, we're not fucking helping them, you idiot.
Yeah. She's just like, let them all duke it out. And Jaime has a really good point where he's like, okay, either they all die and the dead come for us and we die, or they deal with this and they come for us and we die. Either way, it's not looking great for us.
Right. Although Cersei does have the thing, like, we'll fight whoever wins out of them. Like, they have the benefit that they're all north of King's Landing.
She's suspicious about the third dragon not being there.
True.
Because that's when she's like, well, if there's not two... She's like, she came with, like, all her power. There's no way she would have left the third dragon at home, and that means it was probably taken down, and if it could be taken down, then it's not invincible.
Right.
Which becomes a thing.
So she reveals to Jaime that Euron is going to go to Braavos and get the Golden Company, get their soldiers basically, to secure her hold on Westeros and allow the White Walkers to destroy Daenerys and Jon's armies. Disgusted, Jaime rides north to warn Jon and Daenerys. At Dragonstone, Theon wins his men's respects and lead them to rescue Yara. Aboard a northbound ship, Jon seeks out Daenerys, and they fuck.
Ugh, I think they have the worst chemistry.
They do not have chemistry, just in a pure acting
No,
thing.
I could not figure out why those two irritated me together so much for a bit, and it's because they have, like, it feels very forced.
Right. Yeah, that's something I've always thought of actors and just what a strange business it is. It's like, oh, well, we need to hook Brad Pitt up with somebody on screen that he'll have chemistry with. Like, how about Angelina Jolie? And
too much chemistry.
That's the thing, is that if you are a married actor or actress, they need, like, Jim and Pam had great chemistry. But it means like, oh, honey, I got the role of Pam in The Office today. Like, ooh, who they cast as Jim? Like, oh, a guy I would definitely fuck, and it shows on screen in real life. Well, that's what chemistry means, isn't it?
Not necessarily. That was an interesting thing actually about True Blood is like everyone used to be like, oh, like it must be weird with Anna Paquin being married to Bill Moyer and like her having to fuck Alexander Skarsgård, and they're just kind of all like, we're actors. It's what we do. There was really nothing. There's really no issue with it. Because like you have chemistry with people that you're not sexual with. That's called friendship.
Never heard of it.
Oh, so you fuck Neil? Is that what you do on your Sundays?
Me and
you
Neil,
go and fuck Neil.
That's why we drink whiskey, so our penises will not work. It's the only thing that keeps it at bay.
So yeah, they fuck.
While they're fucking, Tyrion overhears them, and again, the god of wine and tits, which I don't think he's actually said yet, but he's just walking around mopey suddenly.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh no, just weird. Awesome scene. At Winterfell, Littlefinger continues to work to increase dissent between Arya and Sansa. Well, Arya is summoned to Sansa's court, basically, where Bran is there and all the men are there. And she says, you have been fostering division in Winterfell. You have been accused of murder and treason. How do you plead? Lord Baelish head turn. What? Such a good fucking scene.
Yeah, and you can see Arya's in on it because she smiles.
Yep. So the Stark kids immediately pivot. Fucking Littlefinger thinks he's been turning the gears, but the gears have been grinding him.
Fucking finally.
Finally.
Because he is responsible
Smug
for
little
all
shit.
of this.
They flat out say, like, you killed both the Aarons. You killed our aunt and you killed John Aaron, and you set this entire thing in motion. You betrayed my father. You sold me to a fucking monster to get raped. Fuck you. Arya slits his goddamn throat.
You know what would have happened if he didn't start all this shit? Robert would have had Daenerys killed at some point, even if Ned, like, pretended he did. Because, like, the fact is, Ned, the only thing that set it in motion that I think made it slightly different was the fact that it pitted Ned against the Lannisters more easily. But it was very clear from the beginning that Cersei didn't like Ned.
Right.
It was she didn't like Lyanna because Robert loved Lyanna and she was always second best. So I kind of feel like, yes, Littlefinger put this in motion, but rewatching it's almost like, well, it's a little overreaching to give him that much power because he made this, like, kind of happen faster.
Right.
But I do think it would have happened eventually. Maybe not in the same way with Ned becoming the Hand of the King, but I do think, like, Cersei would have found a way to try to kill Robert.
Right.
And it would have put the whole thing in motion anyway, because Robert's dead now and it's wide open. And there was already talk of her potentially having conceived children with Jaime. So, like, none of this was new.
Right. So it was also pathetic how at the last second he's like, oh yeah, the Knights of the Vale will protect me. And I'm like, dude, fuck you.
Yeah,
because
what?
it was the one dude that was like training Robin to be like a fucking man. He goes to him, he's like, yeah, do you remember when you tried to get a fucking 12-year-old to kill me for fun and fucking throw me out of the moon door to my death?
Yeah.
Fuck you. So yeah, he just flexed too many times on too many people. And I think this might be the first time since Robb Stark. I don't think Littlefinger was ever a contender, but he made his aspirations known. He wanted to be on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
And I think it might be the first death since Robb that, like, someone was eliminated from that contest.
He his hope is that they all get so busy fighting each other that he can
worm
come
his way in.
He's one of, because they always say, like, you don't want to be like Queen of Ashes. You don't want to be the Queen of the Ashes. Well, he wouldn't mind being the King of the Ashes. If the whole fucking place burned down and he was the last one left, if he was on the Iron Throne, he wouldn't give a shit.
Exactly.
As long as Sansa was by his side. But again, even that felt like a move.
Oh, yeah. And he even tried last minute, like, I loved your mother. I loved you.
And I loved you more.
Yeah. And didn't she say, like, yes, and it got them all killed.
Yeah.
Arya cut his throat.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she takes the fucking blade that he betrayed Ned Stark with and slits his fucking throat, and he bleeds out in the Hall of Winterfell.
Yep.
At your boy.
I was wondering, though, like, how, because it's always like, oh, he who casts the sentence should swing the sword. And I'm like, shouldn't Sansa have done that?
I like the Stark children as separated characteristics of their father. In this case, Sansa should be the one that carries out the judgment. That puts out the sentence, and Arya as the warrior one.
Well, also, it's just like Littlefinger put Sansa through so much shit, it might have been nice to watch her murder him.
Would have been cathartic.
But I guess also, like, they don't want to, like, put blood on her hands. Because Sansa...
Right.
Oh, no, that's not true. She did kill Ramsay. She watched as Ramsay died.
But the dogs killed him. She just...
But she let him... Yeah, she didn't intervene or anything.
All right, so you want to wrap this up here with Sam? I don't know why it says Samwell.
Sam, well, that's his real name.
No.
Sam arrives and meets with Bran.
Arrives to Winterfell.
Oh, arrives to Winterfell.
Bad. That's not those.
Yes, and it very much bothers me that Gilly is the one who finds out about Jon's lineage, and Sam brushes her off because you'll see Sam gets the accolades for this, not Gilly. But Sam finds out that Sam and Gilly find out that like that Jon's a Targaryen, and then Bran's vision.
And we've seen Bran's previous vision that Lyanna Stark was his mother and not some whore and Ned's, so he was a Targaryen. But what we find out here is
that's where I was going.
Well, but this wasn't in the notes. So, but what have we known prior to this about Lyanna and the Targaryen?
So basically, all we know at this point. So initially, we thought Rhaegar kidnapped Lyanna and stole her, raped her, and killed her, and that was it. And that's what started Robert's rebellion. Then Gilly / also Bran see that actually Jon Snow should be Jon Sand because he was born in Dorne, and that he's a Targaryen, but that the rape is still there. But now we know that Jon was brought home by Ned as Lyanna's son to be raised by Ned and Catelyn, which is
as his bastard.
Which we've discussed this. I think Ned could have just said to Catelyn, "Yo, this is the deal," and that would have been fine.
Catelyn, keep this under your hat. But
yeah, what Bran's next vision ultimately concludes is that that Rhaegar did not kidnap Lyanna and rape her, but that he actually got his marriage to Elia Martell, a Dornish person, annulled, got married to Lyanna, and Jon is not only just a Targaryen, he is not a bastard.
He's legitimate, and his real name is Aegon
Targaryen, who is the first Targaryen, I think, who took over with the dragon, Aegon and the dragons.
And therefore, the legitimate
heir to the throne. And he is fucking Dany and doesn't know that's his aunt.
That's right.
And neither of them know that, he actually deserves that spot. So, yep.
Eat that ant pussy.
Yeah.
All right. And finally.
And then at Eastwatch, Night King, is... So, basically, the Whites and the White Walkers are marching on the wall, which is scary because that's as close as they've gotten so far, is on the wall. And then the Night King is riding the white version of Viserion, and he just fucking blows through the wall with his ice fire. And the Army of the Dead marches through, and that's where season 7 ends. And people had to wait for a whole fucking 2 years for the disaster that was season 8. And I genuinely believe, because I watched season 7 right on top of season 8, I was disappointed, but I genuinely believe so much of the disappointment was wrapped up in how fucking long people had to wait for that season, and that's what they got. But you will see in the next season why I've been wanting you to watch the credits every now and then, because there is payoff for that.
Okay. Enough that we can start watching it now and it'll be okay. Okay, cool. By the way, in our Game of Thrones Yo Mama joke contest, this is another one that got spoiled for me, which was Yo Mama's so fat that when the wall got blown up, they replaced it with Yo Mama.
Oh, God, yeah, that's
Which is a great way. If you're going to have anything spoiled, that's the way to do it.
It wasn't really a contest because we didn't declare a winner, but maybe we should have.
I had the best line, although I don't remember which one.
Okay.
It was one of my favorites was Gendry disappeared for 2 seasons because he had to row that boat around your mama.
Oh my God.
Oh God, it was so fun.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So I think this is that was season 7.
Yep, season 7.
We will be back with the maybe not so thrilling conclusion to Game of Thrones.
Yep.
If I remember, I might write a Game of Thrones rap to lose yourself.
Do you have any Jesse's Guessies?
Whew, okay. Jesse's Guessies. Fuck. I feel like we just need to go down the list. I think Jon Snow is going to end up having to kill Jorah.
Interesting.
I know Jorah loves Dany, and Dany has feelings for him, maybe not romantic, but I feel like he's going to feel a certain way about Jon Snow getting in that ant guts.
All right.
Sansa and Arya.
Wait, you think Jon is going to kill Jorah?
I think.
But you think Jorah's going to feel a type of way?
I think a confrontation is going to happen,
Okay.
and Jorah's
Ultimately,
if one of them have to die, it's going to be
got
Jorah.
it.
I know something about Arya is gonna. I know in the next season Arya has sex.
Yeah. Why do you do that every time? And then you wonder why you don't turn me on sometimes.
You're my wife now.
That's
I'm done,
literally
I'm
how
done
he'll
turning
ask
you
me
on.
to have sex. Let the record show. You want to have sex?
Often the answer is yes. So I can't be that bad.
He shrugged and was like, "Yeah, you're right."
What were we doing yesterday before sex? Where we were being too goofy. This isn't going to work.
Oh God, I don't know. We're goofy a lot before we have sex.
But yeah, I think I know who it's with though.
Right.
Which
yeah, you do because you've told me.
Again, all right. All right. I'm just gonna say it. Hot pie on the Iron Throne. That's it.
That's who. Yeah, who do you think is going to be on the Iron Throne at the end of this?
I think it has to be Jon Snow and Dany on there together as king and queen.
Okay.
God, Cersei has to die, and it has to be glorious.
Okay.
If Cersei doesn't die, fuck this shit.
Okay. Wait. Quick run through.
I wish we had a list of like all the characters.
That's okay. We only need the basics. Jaime, alive or dead? By the end.
He has to die.
Cersei, you said die. Jon Snow, you said alive. Dany, you said alive. Jorah, you said dead.
He's not surviving this.
Okay.
Especially now that he's been redeemed.
Sansa.
I'm gonna say all the Starks live.
Okay. So Sansa, Arya, Bran.
I think Bran is too important as the three-eyed raven, and he's far away from training anybody else. It seems like the three-eyed raven is something that needs to exist in this world, and I see all three of the Starks and also Jon dying. If I see any of them dying, it's Sansa.
Okay, Tyrion.
I want Tyrion to live, but fuck, another big one needs to go. It'll break my heart. I'm gonna guess Tyrion dies.
Varys.
Has to die.
Bronn.
Should die. I think he's gonna stick it out. I think he's gonna stick the landing.
Okay. The Hound.
The Hound, I love. Him and his brother are going to have a duel and both fall off a cliff to their deaths.
Okay.
The Hound and the Mountain need to die, and they need to be at each other's hand. They're gonna go out like the end of Rocky 2, only with swords, just both killing. They're gonna simultaneously decapitate one another.
Okay. Drogon. The dragon.
See, here's the weird thing. I feel like there's only going to be one dragon left.
Okay, who do you think is going to make it?
Well,
Drogon or Rhaegal?
Drogon's the only one that's been important, it feels like. The Viserion and the other one seem like a matching set. So, on the one hand, Drogon's the one that dies and is really sad, but then who gives a fuck if the other one's still alive?
Also, don't forget, like, their growth was stunted. Being in...
Oh, yeah.
That's the argument of why he was able to die by the hand of the Night King.
If all three dragons die, Daenerys dies.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's Gendry.
Gendry. I think Gendry's gonna live.
Brienne.
Do we see... Brienne better live. Do we see Robin again?
Yes.
Oh, I hope that fuck goes flying.
You think he's gonna fly through the
moon
door?
I hope he slips on a banana peel and falls through the moon door, and a fucking bird shits on him on the way down. Fuck Robin.
Trying to think who else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any major characters.
I wish I wrote down everyone you said.
Sam and Gilly. Sam and Gilly need to live forever, happily ever after.
Yeah.
Of course.
So,
Ed, who gives a shit. Ed Sheeran should not have lived through that episode. Like I said, hot pie.
Oh, how about Lyanna? Little Lyanna.
Little Lyanna is awesome. I cannot imagine her dying.
Okay. Try to think who else runs or in charge of houses.
Pod is living.
Yeah, Podrick. Euron.
Euron's not. He's not gonna make it to the last
Not
episode.
long for this world. Davos.
I want him to live. I feel like he'll die.
Okay. Melisandre.
Oh, Melisandre and Grey Worm.
Melisandre, Grey Worm. Gay Worm.
Oh, I meant Missandei. Melisandre needs to die. She needs to reveal herself as a witch to somebody, and that's going to be fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. I imagine she's going to see Jon Snow again, and Jon's going to be like, what the fuck? And Davos is going to insist on her execution, and then we will see whatever happens.
Yeah, Missandei and Grey Worm.
They're both going to live.
Okay.
The Night King obviously is going to die, but who is going to kill him?
Right. Who do you think's going to kill the Night King? Without knowing anything.
It needs to be a dark horse. It can't be Jon. It can't be Dany. Maybe Arya.
Okay.
I don't know. Or, you know what I could see?
What?
You know what I could see?
What?
I could see Jaime being the one who kills the Night King and dies in the process.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's his big redemption. They've teased that back and forth so much with Jaime. I can see Jaime dying in a final redemptive moment.
All right. I think
maybe saving Tyrion.
Maybe. I think that's everyone.
I think that is everyone.
Cool.
Okay. Well, there's the dude who's died a bunch of times for the Men Without Banners.
Barrack.
He already died.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that is it. That was a fun little exercise. I like that.
Oh, good. You're
All right.
welcome.
We will see you guys next time for the maybe not so thrilling conclusion. I think I already said that joke. Of season 8 of Game of Thrones. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Whenever we posted this.